Welcome on in, Ashwings. Such a pleasure to see you all here today, and I hope you are ready for more commoner content, because I am going to hope that decks like today's deck is going to help and assist you with getting to a gold foil at your next big organized play event for Flesh and Blood. Today we're talking a little bit about my very first hero in the foray of commoner, which is Dash. I believe I got a whole bunch of stuff excited and ready for Dash when I had gotten to my very first organized play event at Calling Indie, I think in 2023. And as some of you may know, when we were doing our live streams and things like that during that weekend, I ended up getting Dash altogether and being able to play Dash at the commoner events that were there for the event. And so I was very, very excited to be in there. I almost took one of the commoner events with Dash, but kind of just split with the other person because it was just easier at that front. So we went ahead and split, but I wanted to go over a updated Dash list that I think is pretty good comparatively to what it was previously, and something just to kind of go over. I'm not going to go too in depth in regards to what the deck is, because I'd rather just show you in a game on Talishar here. But for the main part, the portion is that you're playing Dash. Dash is going to start with an item in play. In most cases, you're going to pick Hyperdriver, but in some cases, you might want to play Boom Grenade. This is only if your opponent has like Kano life, and you're really trying to threaten like their whole life in a matter of one turn. Boom Grenade's a great way to go about doing it. Also, if you're going second, it's a fantastic one to start with. If you're going second, if you're going first, though, Hyperdriver definitely is great to start with and will be your item of choice into most matchups. But of course, you are playing a Iron Rod helmet, but in a cool mechanologist style. You are playing a Heart and Cross Trap to make your 2-cost boost cards cost nothing. Goliath Gauntlet to give those same 2 or greater cost cards +2. And then an Achilles Accelerator in case you need to swing with another thing without having to boost, strictly due to the end part of the game where you can't really boost a whole lot. So there's that. It also gives you AB1, so it's very good into the Runeblade and Wizard matchups. But let's be honest, you're probably not really going to pitch into a whole lot of those, so not a problem there. Our main weapon at least, is Plasma Barrel Shot. This weapon's pretty good because, as I said, you can go first, slam a whole bunch of stuff, and then end your turn by putting a Plasma Barrel Shot counter on here with the 2 resources it costs just to put it on there. Or if you go second, the same deal, right? Second is normally where you want to be, but going first, you can even just put a card. You can pitch a card to put a steam counter on this, and then put something in Arsenal pass. It's normally what you want to do if you're going first. If you're going second, though, of course, it's just kind of block out as effectively as possible. Most of your cards block for 3, so block out as much as you can, and then you'll get to go ahead and send a pretty big turn outside of your Plasma Barrel Shot. But any opportunity you get, load this thing, because this is how you're going to go ahead and end your chain links whenever they get really, really wide. Main thing here for the deck, Boom Grenades, pretty great. If any Mechanologist attack action hits while a Boom Grenade is on the battlefield, it will blow up and deal 4 damage. Pretty great. Crankshaft, we're running the Rainbow Crankshaft. If this gets boosted, we get a steam counter on our Hyperdriver. Pretty good. Jumpstart costs 1 less if we have a Hyperdriver, which we normally will. So that means this is a 1 for 5 or a 1 for 4, which is pretty good rate. Lay Waste, this is if your opponent has a lot of equipment, you can go ahead and send this out to them, and it can't be defended by equipment. So if your opponent's trying to save an entire hand and you're coming in for this, plus maybe 7 if you use the Goliath Gauntlet, good stuff there. Payload is a great way for you to close out games, because again, you can essentially just send this after you've boosted. This has Dominate, so very powerful to utilize if you play Heart and Cross Trap and then Goliath Gauntlet to get an action point back and not break the chain. You can come in with Payload for nothing. So pretty good stuff there. Then I would say what we're doing here is Recharge is a pretty good card. Costs 1, blocks for 2, but you can put a steam counter on a hyperdriver you control, and the next attack you boost gets +4. It's a lot of value off of a card. Like I said, like you can get a steam counter on something and then send a jumpstart or send a throttle, which is huge because this throttle will come in for 10. So you'll pitch a blue, right? You can play Recharge and then throttle them for 10 boosted, and then come in with a bunch of other damage. So Recharge is pretty good. Throttle, of course, as I had mentioned. Underloop, this is kind of a way for you to recur some cards. Not the end of the world if these don't hit, though. 0 to 50 is just a 0 cost boost card. More damage that if we can help it, and it blocks 3. 0 to 60s are better 0 to 50s. Who would have thought? And you run the rainbows of those. You run the red and the yellow zipper hits, and the blue Big Berthas, which do pretty much the exact same thing as Crankshaft, but you only just want to run the blues because the reds will kind of clog you up and you're not really attacking with this. You're mainly just either blocking, or you're going to be hopefully boosting it or pitching things for it. Then, of course, in the inventory, we do have some more stuff that kind of messes with an equipment suite. So if your opponent has more equipment on their board than they do non-equipment, then, you know, stuff that's going to block if you are knowledgeable into the matchups. If you know that they have a lot of stuff that's going to block, Fender Bender's pretty good. Outpace is the same way. Again, can't be defended by equipment. We have Null Rune Hood and Gloves for the Wizard matchups, or really just any Arcane. I thought about putting Oasis Respite in here instead of something like Fender Bender, but you're just racing them, right? You just need to be quicker. So in some cases, this might even be something that you just don't want to play at all. Just because you're trying to outpace them. Techloplasma Pistol is something that is a little bit more for those fatigue matches, so you can just, you know, end your turns, boost, send pistol, boost, send pistol, and kind of have that be your plan as opposed to making like 4 boosts. So that's the main core of the deck. This is also the deck that I've added into my battle box for Commoner, so this is the same one I'm bringing to all my events for people to play with in case they want to play Commoner. But let's go ahead and get into a quick game and see exactly how she works in the new meta after the most recent bans. Alrighty, here we are. We're just waiting for our opponent. Might take a little while to get our opponent up here, but as I mentioned, kind of the whole concept here is that you're trying to go really, really fast. The benefit is just a rundown while we're waiting for our opponent. A benefit of playing Dash is the fact that now that Icelander is not as relevant of a hero in the meta, it's one less ice hero that people are going to have to worry about. And therefore, not that you're never going to run into it, but because it's less prevalent, or less relevant, I should say, Dash gets to just go ahead and utilize all of her resources to send a ton of damage all at once. Mechanologist has a really, really great concept of having some of the best valued commons in the game. Really, a lot of these cards, you know, like these ones all here being able to put something on a hyperdriver. These guys here putting something on a hyperdriver. You have payloads. It's pretty good. So here we're into an Enigma. I don't want them to set up, so I'd almost much rather go first here so I can blow up their turn. But we're going to send them the good luck, have fun here. They are going to have equipment, but I don't know whether or not we actually care enough to send this. I'd almost much rather send... we can actually probably add this in and then maybe get rid of a 0 to 50. I think that's a fine equipment there. We're not changing anything here. Pretty much staying the same. Again, we're going to try and race them. So we're going to go first in this regard. So we are going to get our hyperdriver out. And then effectively all we're going to do here is we're going to filter our hand a little bit. We are going to go ahead and simply... So there's the, Blade Beckoner for everything. So luckily we do have some stuff in here that cares about blocking equipment. We are going to go ahead and simply just do this here. We're going to pitch into this and then into this. Get that in there, and then we're going to end our turn. And by ending our turn, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get something set up in our arsenal here. That'll be our 0 to 60, and then we'll just pass. This turn now looks significantly better. Our opponent's probably just going to set up exactly a manifestations. I'm not going to block anything here because this is just going to come in for a very, very casual little bit here. Spectral Prowler's interesting. This could get popped, but I'd have to send a whole card to pop it. So I don't really care. I'm able to present significantly more damage on their turn. So they're going to be able to block a lot, but it's not the end of the world for me. I'd much rather just take this damage and then pass. We're definitely going to be killing their Spectral Shield, so we're going to hope they don't have a whole ton of stuff here. But let's go ahead and send some stuff. We have got... We're probably going to pitch the Jumpstart here because this hand's kind of crazy. We are going to boost. Okay, so we'll get a resource here. They'll come in for 4. They're going to block 4. Now, luckily, they don't have to... They don't worry so much about some other stuff here. So we are going to come in for... Actually, we should probably do this. Let's boost. 4. They're going to want to block with equipment. If they do, this one's going to get some additional value here. So we wanted to get one piece of equipment on the board there. They're going to de-react, which is perfect. So this is the perk of Enigma in this matchup, is that Enigma really just gets to send a bajillion damage. Like so much. The resolution step? Interesting. I'm going to send another one. I'm going to boost. So we've got another 4 coming in. Now that's all of our 0 to 60s. So this is a turn in which, like, it's pretty big that we end up having this happen. We can also then go ahead and send in this zipper hit. I'm going to boost. We got a hyperdriver counter. That's sick. That's 4 more damage coming in. So they don't really have to give us a card here. They're going to probably just keep enough to Spectral Manifestations if I were to guess. But, of course, that means that we get to go ahead and attack here. This is going to come in for 5. And theoretically, we dealt more damage than they dealt to us. So we're in a fairly okay spot here. And then we'll just go ahead and pass it on up. We've got some pretty good stuff in our hand. Of course, this is definitely going to be a Spectral Manifestations turn. Sure was. So they come in for 7. Let's see here. Let's see. What do we do for 7? We really shouldn't block. There's no reason for us to even do that. I think effectively we're just going to take 7. I guess we can block here, right? My Talishar is being really laggy today, so unsure what that's all about. But okay, so we're at 5. They need to be able to threaten a little bit more. We can go ahead. Pretty simple turn, I think. I think we're going to go ahead. We're going to play Boom Grenade. We are going to crank said Boom Grenade. I'm going to pitch to Plasma Barrel Shot this payload. Now, theoretically, you would think it'd be more important to do the payload, but they have all their equipment up, so I think it is just more important that we focus on this here. So we are going to boost. We'll see whether or not they get to keep their whole hand. They probably will get to keep most of this. Again, like, they only really need to keep 1 red card in order for them to swing 7. So it's pretty good for them in that regard. We're not able to send a ton here, but we are continuously sending stuff. So 5 is a little bit more of an ask. But of course, again, they could block with 2 cards, pitch a card to attack with Spectral Shield, and have it be fine. This is also going to come in, because I am going to attack with my Plasma Barrel Shot. So I am making sure to do that. Looks like they're going to block. They're expecting... this will be 3 damage coming in. So they're blocking with a Battlefront Bastion. I'm assuming they're going to have a D-React. Okay, the Boom Grenade's coming through. That's good to hear. And now theoretically, we could hold off on this, which I think we might do, because I could send 3 and get like another card out of his hand. But they could also just block with this Blade Beckoner helmet, go down to 2 and still send stuff. I think I'd much rather have the... Yes, I do want to close the combat chain. I'd much rather have the plasma barrel shot here, threatening all of that. I think the perk here is knowing when to use it. So this is 7. Theoretically, we could block with a card, and then like I think we just win here, if I'm correct in saying so. 7 comes in. We block with this. We pop crankshaft boost. I think that's right. Because there's no additional on the back end here. No other way to make that happen. No, I think this is just a very casual block here. I'll take 4. No additional pings or arcane or anything coming at me. No, you can tell there's no additional stuff here. We'll go ahead then, and we will do exactly as we said. We're going to Heart and Cross Trap. We are going to Goliath Gauntlet. We are going to send Crankshaft boosting. So we did get that there. We have 1 float here, and I feel like in a perfect world, we could have done something else here, but 7 go again is pretty good. They're going to have to send a lot. We've got 1 on their equipment here, which they're probably going to utilize to block. And then we come in with a payload. Payload, now they can still only block with 1 card, or they can block with a D-React. But we have to force as much as we can out of their hand. I mean, that's really just kind of where we're at right now with this. But luckily, what I can do here is I can also pop the Achilles Accelerator and send 1. I mean, there wouldn't be any reason for me to do that. I might as well just keep this thing on here. But unsure why we're waiting so long. There we go. Get the Blade Beckoner. D-React. Okay. See if they take a couple damage here. They will. Okay. I think we win unless this is a D-React in Arsenal, right? Boop. Yeah, if that's a D-React in Arsenal, we lose. Well, we don't lose. We probably lose if they get to keep their whole hand here, but they'd have to D-React and then also block with a card in hand. They don't have the armor. I think we caught them in a good spot, and I think we actually probably have it here. So that blocks for that there. They're going to gain a life. They're going to they're not going to be able to transcend because they're not playing a card. So they still die. And that's on us. Good stuff. If you enjoy this content and wish to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. Channel members get access to our podcast, The Common Language, a week earlier than other subscribers, as well as emotes, loyalty badges, and any other special member-only content I decide to make. Channel members will also be eligible for special channel member giveaways, so stay tuned for your chance to enter. I thank you all so much for considering to support my endeavors in the creator space for this wonderful TCG, and I hope you all continue to have fun in the flesh and blood. Back to the video. So, we'll go ahead and do one more rematch here, and we'll see exactly what happens. We're going to do kind of the same deal here. We're going to play this. Our turn is simply going to be Plasma Barrel Shot, get rid of both of these because we don't want all that. We're going to pass. We're going to put this in the arsenal, keep a blue in hand, and then go from there. Recharge is great. Theoretically, we can recharge into Lay Waste, and then into Fender Bender. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that's kind of it. So we've got that here. Let's get another game in. Make this happen. These games luckily go pretty quick, so All right, single-minded determination, not terrible. Gives them some ward 2 here. We're going to go ahead and do exactly what we said. We're going to get rid of the payload. I don't think that we need a whole payload. Now, the cool thing here is that theoretically we can do this. We can pop a Heart and Cross Trap, Goliath Gauntlet, play Lay Wastes, play Fender Bender, and play Throttle all in the same turn. And then also swing Plasma Barrel Shot. It's not risky, but it's definitely, we want to save this for as late as we can. So I think we just go ahead and we send this, create a resource. Can't be defended by equipment, which is pretty important considering it's going to be 9. So 9 can't be defended by equipment. Definitely going to be hurting them a little bit here. And then we can comfortably send the Fender Bender, which of course is also going to get buffed because they're going to want to block with equipment. So they do have an unmovable. That's kind of cool on their end. So that blocks 8. So it's still going to block it out entirely here. Oh, okay. Exactly. That's kind of interesting. They do get to do that. Okay. Then we can just go ahead and simply... So we could send 6, boost, swing Fender Bender, and then swing Plasma Barrel Shot. This is good for us on this hand because they're gonna want to send stuff, but I think we're good here. I think we're good to just send. We did get a crankshaft here boosting, which is pretty good. So this one is going to get buffed by every equipment that blocks it. So we had another +1 there. We love to see it. It's going to continue to go up in value. So this is the perk of having these into these more equipment heavy builds, is just that you get to have pretty nice time here. Theoretically, we can send this. This would block. So we get a lot of block value out of here. But let's just send it. Sure. For 4. They've already lost some stuff there. They can block with 2 of these to block out 4 of it, but that's a lot of value that I don't know that they'd exactly want. Oh, it's coming in for 3. Just kidding. Just kidding. But more importantly, yeah, they're not going to be able to get a ton of value off everything here. Okay. Pass. We've got nothing left. They're going to Enigma, of course. Get that Spectral Shield. And then we very well could pop this. Yeah, we kind of need to be on the back foot here, right? Not going to boost. So this is kind of good. I don't love using our equipment that early, but I think really like giving them the setup here. We already know they're not going to get anything out of this. So we're just giving them our whole hand. You got to imagine, like, they blocked a lot here. They blocked a lot in this hand. And we get to keep our whole hand now. So pretty good. We got the crankshaft going in here. Let's go ahead and start by... Let's see. How does this turn work out for us? Theoretically, we can just start sending stuff, right? So we're going to send it. Get the hyperdriver counter. An Oasis Respite. That's kind of crazy. Did not expect to see that in this matchup, but you're going to have to pitch for it. So what are you going to pitch? An Homage to Ancestors. Okay. So not doing a lot of transcending there, but that's fine. We still get a resource. So it's kind of best to be a little bit more like cautious, I think, in this regard. We could theoretically load Plasma Barrel Shot. Another Oasis Respite. Oh my gosh. That's kind of insane, actually. No. I don't want to close the comment. The resolution step. Interesting. Let's just send 4 more. I will boost. Okay, so we've gotten one of our red payloads off of here already. Kind of unfortunate, but they got a lot of health off this. They gained 3 health and blocked out 12 damage, something like that. So, a lot of value off of there. Hold on. Yeah, I do want to close the combat chain. Interesting they have that up. I was not aware that that was a thing. So, but yeah, they blocked out a lot in that regard. That was a lot of damage being prevented there. Let's go ahead in this situation. It's just kind of rough, but I think we're going to need to just do this here. Banish. We're going to send 0 to 60. We're going to boost. I'd imagine in this situation, just because like they seem to be getting a lot of value off of this, I think they understand that the term is just block here. They know that what they have to do here is just block, which is, you know, that makes sense. I think that's exactly what you're supposed to do in this regard, is just block. And then send 4. I will boost. Yeah. And then send 3 in this. So they get the value off those, which is pretty good. They still take 2. And then this is the special manifestation. Absolutely. So that's fine. Again, it's a card I don't actually care about. I'll throw this in front of it. Just pass. They have no armor to block with anymore, which is pretty good for us, actually. So we're going to go ahead and start. This is an odd hand just because of what we have access to. But we're going to just keep sending damage because that is what we do in this society. Pitching the jumpstart is going to cost 1. Everything in my hand costs 1. So we'll be boosting. So they have to block with the cards from hand or they have to lose their spectral shield is effectively where we're at right now with this, which isn't terrible for us because, again, we're just trying to like keep shit. So that's not going to get the value there. We're going to send this. And then we're going to load our Plasma Barrel Shot and pass. So theoretically here, we could have loaded the Plasma Barrel Shot first and then sent damage, but I think it's still fine. We ate it up. We get to just keep that, and then we pass our turn. So their turn is put something in Arsenal, pass. No blues in our hand, unfortunately. Again, this is kind of one of those situations where the chest and the arms would have been insane. But unfortunately, we're not dealing with that exact scenario right now, so we're just going to go ahead and keep on boosting. We're going to hope that we can get some good value off of this. I know we've got some more blues left in here. We have the last payload that's kind of going to like save us, I'd imagine. So pretty good there. They're going to say no blocks here. Probably a sink. Okay, that makes more sense. So ping you for 1 damage here. Okay. We will go ahead and boost. Do we want to boost? Yeah, we'll boost. 6 boosts, pretty good. Now we're pretty much out of our 0 to 60s. We do have blue 0 to 60s in here still, so they're blocking with their find alls and with this, so they're going to get to gain a life. And then we're going to go ahead and simply pass. I'm going to put this in Arsenal. No, cancel. Stop. Pass. Arsenal. So we're going to see what they're able to resolve here. Probably nothing. Honestly, we're in a pretty odd spot here. I could comfortably take 5. And then I think this is like a pretty okay hand to send a lot of things to. So I think if we had our legs, this would be a different game here. Let's just go ahead and take 5 because we have the life lead here. So no reason for us not to. We'll go ahead and start off with the crankshaft, banishing the crankshaft. We will be boosting. Get us a counter on there. See, if only I had enough here. Okay, a D-React. They should only have, they're out of Oasis. They've got 2 D-Reacts left, right? They probably have them in their hand here, if I were to guess. Yeah, we're going to come in for 4. I'm going to boost. And then we shouldn't payload here, but we don't really have a lot of choice. I mean, effectively, what we're doing is we have to send damage. I am going to payload here. 6 dominate is what we want. Get them down to a little bit lower of a life total. An unmovable is pretty freaking good. But we'll do that and pass up. So now we're left with a lot of blues. Theoretically, it's still pretty good for us. We could, in this hand, these things cost a lot. So unfortunately, we could probably just play the Big Bertha pitch. I will boost. This is kind of our last turn. I'd imagine that we're going to get blocked out. This is how you beat Dash. I do think I definitely lost my equipment a little bit early. There's the defense reaction. That's their last one. So they have to block with cards from hand now. But of course, that doesn't matter for them because there's going to be nothing really left for them in that situation. Trying to figure out what we have left. We have blue 0 to 60s that we can send. We have we're pretty much banished a lot of our good reds, which is unfortunate for us. But I will boost. Yes. So we'll send 4. See if we can still continue to threaten stuff. They're not going to have a D-React, so there's nothing they're going to be able to do here in that regard. But they can comfortably block. I'll just run out of cards. Like, there's really nothing I can do in that regard, so. Okay. And I could send 3. I think I might as well do it just because. Why not? So send 3, block 3. That's about right. Yeah, and they're totally out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're comfortably just playing preserve. They're going to have nothing to send. We have this hand, which is just kind of unfortunate for us. But yeah, 2. That just is fine. Not going to waste a card on that. I would say I think here we're probably just due to send some damage. I think I'm going to pitch here. Well, we can't actually boost, so no. So hold on. We're going to do this instead because we can't boost. So this payload, unfortunately, is like dead in the water now. So that sucks for us, but it is what it is. All we can do, they're just going to block it out here comfortably. That's wild that they got to keep. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, send 8. I have to block here or I die. I can comfortably send. I mean, I have to block, so definitely going to be rough for me for sure, but that's okay. We can send 2 or we can send 1. So we're going to just send 2. 2 is going to give them a card. They're going to block it out. that's entirely it. So you'll see the game plan is very, very dynamic. If I boost a lot of my power cards, which we see that I did, right? 0 to 60s boosted, another recharge boosted. I do think that we probably could have threatened a lot more on other turns. But of course, that's just what it is. You hate to see it, but that's okay. Same old, same old. That's the thing, is that it's not that Enigma's unbeatable in Dash. Definitely is just one of those hands where, we can't do anything about it. Once Dash gets fatigued, that's kind of the game. I definitely thought about whether or not, to pop all that stuff there. But at the end of the day, it is a different game overall, especially when you take a look at the Enigma side here, right? Enigma has everything in their deck blocks for 3 besides the spectral manifestations and the chi. And really, when you combine that with blue unmovable, red Finals Fighting Spirit, Sink Belows, and Fate for Scenes, the deck blocks incredibly well. And that's what, as we can see, that is also what kills Dash. So if you guys enjoyed this gameplay, I know it was just 2 Enigma games back to back, but I know a lot of people are trying to get their experience into the matchup, but that was kind of a telltale. You got 1 win and 1 loss, and we were happy to go ahead and do that. But of course, if you have any questions into the Dash deck, if there's something that you would like to see changed, possibly, do you feel that Dash is done well enough into the overall commoner meta, or do you think Enigma is just like the better hero at this point? Feel free to go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. I'd be more than happy to hear from you. And then, of course, let me know what commoner hero you would like to see me play next into the format. Trying to do a lot more of the stuff from our battle box, so that way we can kind of see what these heroes are available to do. So I'm going to do a few of those first, and then once we have more information on just like how to play these heroes, why I view them to be the best in their class, then we can try out some other builds that happen to be out there in regards to good old commoner. So thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I look forward to seeing all of you beautiful Ashwings in our next video.